It's the final 9 days until the election. Candidates are making their final pitch to voters.
I'm the better candidate because I have 30 years of direct experience with the constituents and the voters in this district.
You want people to trust you and know that you are going to work hard for them. And when you have a 28-year record in the legislature, they pretty much know whether you can represent them well.
Those congressional candidates, plus the former presidential candidate who says kindness is the key to life and defends the way he wants to change politics.
I think it's high time for us to really start emphasizing that we're all in the same boat. And if part of the boat sinks, eventually the rest of it goes down too.
Dr. Ben Carson joins us for This Week in Jacksonville. Thanks for joining us. A man who seemed unlikely in the role of politician explains his belief in the power of positive thinking. Here's what Dr. Ben Carson seems positive about, that there's a place for kindness and gratitude in every part of our world. We spoke this week as he appeared in Jacksonville for a nonprofit fundraiser. So as we visit today, folks are going to know neurosurgeon, they're going to know former presidential candidate, they're going to know maybe author. How does that all come together to what we wanted to talk about in terms of kindness, gratitude, and American civility?
Well, see, I think kindness, gratitude, civility are a major factor in success in any area that one goes into. And that's why with the Carson Scholars Fund, which is active in all 50 states now, not only do you have to be a stellar student academically, but you must have a very substantial indication that you care about other people and that you treat other people the right way. And we realize that if we're going to create the leaders for tomorrow, we need people who are not only smart, but people who care, people who are compassionate, people who are kind, because that will dictate the type of nation that we have, the kind of leaders that we have.
You ran for a year to be the leader of the nation. And it seems like what our country is doing is looking to people who point fingers and call names and all that sort of thing. Not just running for president, but
Sure.
throughout our political process. Is there something that sticks with you about engaging in a campaign and now being out of it where you want to see that change and be more civil?
Well, I would love to see it. Unfortunately, you know, we're in what I call the WWE Raw stage. And we allowed, quite frankly, the media to dictate the kind of candidates. We weeded out the people who wanted to actually talk about the issues and to be more civil, and we gravitate toward, you know, the WWE Raw type candidate. That's been sort of a tradition of ours, quite frankly. And right now, it may be what we need because we've become so coarse as a society. We really have stopped emphasizing civility as much as we used to. And when you look at television, you look at, you know, music videos, you look at all of these things, and it's all about me and how I feel and what's good for me, and, you know, tough if you don't fit into my world. And that's not the way it used to be in America. And I think it's high time for us to really start emphasizing that we're all in the same boat. And if part of the boat sinks, eventually the rest of it goes down too. So we actually are benefiting ourselves when we look after and treat compassionately those who are around us. The other thing that we have to keep in mind, particularly in America in 2016, 2017, is that there are people in this world who want to destroy us. They want to destroy our way of life. They make no bones about it. We do nothing but facilitate their job when we fight with each other, when we create division and strife between ourselves simply because there may be a disagreement.
One of the things that I'm reading about is your book, Gifted Hands, is included in this curriculum, if you will, for kindness literacy. So maybe explain what kindness literacy is and what kind of impact it's making.
Well, you know, we talk a lot in all of my books, quite frankly, about the tremendous benefits of kindness. Even if you want to look at it from a neurological point of view, it is well known that when you're at peace, the endorphin levels in your brain go up, they increase. And when you don't have a lot of anxiety and stress, it's much easier to learn. So that's why you see when a child comes from a happy home environment, and is taught to treat people in the right way, those tend to be much better students than the ones who come from an environment of constant strife and hatred and worry. So we actually do our children a great deal of damage when we subject them to all of those kinds of things, and we do them a great deal of good when we do it the opposite. And it would do parents a great deal of good just to know that and to recognize how much of an impact they're having on the trajectory of their children.
I know one of the things coming up, Jacksonville area, is Journey to Kindness campaign. So that kicks off in 2017. And what I'm told is there's already kind of the results are up to 40% improvement in reading gains, up 88%, and what I'm hearing from Amy over here is we've only scratched the surface.
Absolutely. This
kind of campaign that we'll see in January, what's your expectation? What's your hope for what it would do in Northeast Florida?
Well, my hope is that it would become contagious. And you know, I tell young people all the time, I challenge them to play a game. I say, see if you can find somebody who's not being nice and convert them by the way you treat them. And it becomes a real challenge for them. And they love it because, you know, it actually becomes an art form. You see somebody who's grouchy and you, oh, what's the problem? You know, I know something that can help with that. And just, you know, bring them a glass of water or something. It has a profound effect, not only on the person that you're treating, but also on you when you start thinking that way.
What I'm reading about the program, the kind of impact kindness literacy can have is on family, it's on classrooms, communities, corporate cultures. Can it have an impact in politics, this world that you were in and now are not in, and probably wiping your brow to say thank goodness, right?
Well, you know, politics is a harder nut to crack, but it can still be cracked. And it's a matter of putting the right kind of people in office who actually care about the people that they represent and are not so much concerned about their own political career. Having been in that world, I can tell you that those people are few and far between, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be looking for them and trying to stack the deck with people like that, because it will make a major difference in the culture if we can do it.
Which one of those other candidates who are running for office, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green, whatever, who's the kindest of them all? Who should I look for to fit this criteria?
Well, I happen to be supporting the candidate that I know a lot about, and tremendous stories about people that he doesn't even know, and has done amazing things like pay off their mortgage or put their kids through college. And, you know, those are the kinds of things that I look for in a person. Also, you know, when I was on the campaign trail, and one of the debates, you know, I didn't hear my name announced, so I was standing there. Every other candidate walked by me except for this particular candidate. He stood there with me until they got the thing straightened out. He was the only one who went to the media and said, you know, why do you guys not want to ask this guy questions? Just because he's not mean and doing things, why are you trying to avoid him? All the others were perfectly happy that they weren't. And that tells you something about a person's heart.
So you didn't mention a name there.
I purposely did that because I want people to figure it out for themselves.
Now, Carson endorsed Donald Trump for president back in March, saying the Republican nominee has a very cerebral approach in private, as opposed to his often combative style in speeches and in debates. So from the former candidate to those still chasing a position in Washington, D.C., the leading candidates for Corrine Brown's spot in Congress, starting with Glo Smith, next on This Week in Jacksonville.
Never trick or treat on an empty stomach. Keep your little monsters happy. Just $8. Fresh made, fresh baked, fresh fun. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Good or better? The Hyundai Santa Fe Sport versus the Ford Edge.
Should we be wearing helmets?
The Santa Fe Sport has an available multi-view camera system and auto emergency braking. The Edge? No. And no.
Hey, what's with the axe?
And only the Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty.
No. I'm out.
Better is the reason to buy Hyundai.
And this is the reason to buy now. Lease the Santa Fe Sport for $139 a month or get up to $32.50 in total savings. Visit buyhyundai.com.
Islamic terrorists attacked our ambassador's compound in Benghazi. I was there. My friends didn't make it. Hillary Clinton's State Department denied requests for more security. Then she lied to protect herself. Now, Congressman Murphy has this to say about Benghazi.
Hey, Hillary, I don't think you did anything wrong.
Congressman Murphy's weakness is a threat to your freedom.
The NRA Institute for Legislative Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Everyone at Harold & Harold lives in Jacksonville, works in this community.
And we understand Jacksonville. It's where we live, it's where our families live.
I grew up in Clay County, and it's a pleasure working with people that I love and trust.
You will have someone who drives the same roads as you, that attends the same churches as you, that understands the uniqueness to our city.
Call us or visit our website, Harold & Harold. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Change has never been more powerful. We're rolling out our capable new lineup during Nissan's Year of the Truck and SUV event. The all-new Armada and Pathfinder, plus the award-winning Murano and our best-selling Rogue with intuitive all-wheel drive. Take on any terrain. Get to Nissan now for big savings, like 0% financing for up to 72 months on 11 models, or save up to $1,500 on Rogue.
America is the greatest country in the world. And keeping it that way is every generation's debt to the next. Today, our country is more divided than ever, and our challenges are growing more grave, threatening who we are and everything we hope to be. I'm Marco Rubio, and I approved this message because this election is about the future and about keeping America the one place in the world where any dream can still come true.
This November, we have your all-access food pass. Hacks that make your life way easier. Investigations that take you behind the scenes at Costco and a Purdue chicken farm. This November on Oz.
Weekdays at 4 on the local station. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
Joining us in this segment, the Republican candidate for Congressional District 5. This is Glo Smith. So, Glo, you're conservative, running in a redrawn district that leans pretty heavily Democrat. So, replacing Corrine Brown, what would you say to those folks who have always supported Congresswoman Brown? Why should they give you a chance?
Well, I think if they look at my history and my experience, they'll see that I have worked across the lines, not only as the employee with Governor Scott, but just in my own personal life. I've worked with small business owners. I've worked with people with nonprofits and private organizations alike. And you know, political ideology and affiliation has never come up. I am a servant, and I think that when they look at my record and my history, they'll understand that I work across the line and I care about the people.
A lot of people, though, do look at what that party affiliation is before they decide to check the box. So maybe here's a chance for a Democrat or a Republican in this Democrat district because of redistricting. A lot of people aren't as familiar with former State Senator Al Lawson, who lives in Tallahassee, and he's running here, and the majority, I guess, more than half of the district is here in Duval County and in Jacksonville. So is that the opportunity to say, don't look at the party affiliation, or is it something you're still running on that conservative Republican platform?
I do run on that conservative Republican platform, but we have picked up a lot of Democratic support. We have Bishop and Pastor Sampson. We have Bishop Lorenzo Hall. We have received really good feedback from several of the city council people that are Democrats. If you look at our endorsement list, we have a host of diverse endorsements that clearly states that they want a representative from this area that they know and that they can trust and they know that want to represent the people. And they're willing to step across party line and to vote for me. So I think that speaks a lot for me and my character.
That Democratic opponent, the state senator, 28 years, either 18 in the House or 10 in the Senate and whatever, and say, hey, he's saying he's got a lot of legislative experience. Why wouldn't someone like that be the better candidate? Why are you the better choice?
I'm the better candidate because I have 30 years of direct experience with the constituents and the voters in this district. I'm going to Washington to fix what 30 years of what he's been doing and so many other established and recycled politicians have done to our country. So I think the choice for the people that I'm talking to is someone new with fresh ideas that's willing to dig us out of the hole that an established politician has gotten us into.
So what are the big ideas, and what's maybe the idea, the most important thing that you would want to take with you from Northeast Florida to Washington if you were elected?
Really just the desire of people to work, to understand that we have qualified people that want to get jobs. That's the #1 issue, Ken, that comes up. Really, it's not about who's running for president. It's not about what political party I'm affiliated with. They want to know how we're going to bring jobs. What am I going to do to encourage entrepreneurship and to work on educational needs and to work on overcriminalization. So I think as we talk about those issues, I want to go to Washington and have that conversation. I had a great opportunity to speak with several Democrats and Republicans together. And, you know, we come together on those social issues that are important to the 5th District.
Maybe describe for me why you're not really getting involved on that presidential side. I heard recently you said, hey, let's not talk about that. Aren't you aligned as a Republican with the Republican nominee in this case?
Well, I happen to grow up in a household where we were taught to vote for the best person and the best candidate, and I've often voted across party line because my parents taught me that, to vote for the best candidate. And with this race, neither candidate, I think, are the ones that most Americans want. So I'm concentrating my time and effort on the 5th District. That's what's important to me. The people in the 5th District may or may not get involved in the presidential race, but what they're talking to me about are the issues that's directly related to what's happening in North Florida.
Last thing for you, Glow Smith. Corrine Brown representing the district for so many years, and she said she delivered. So the question to you and then later to Senator Lawson, what do you plan to deliver if you get elected to represent Northeast Florida?
I think #1, jobs. We've got to create jobs in our community. We've got to do something that's going to encourage economic development within our district. We're going to talk about education. I had a chance to talk to the Congresswoman about that and where she would like me to focus some attentions on with Pell Grants and student loans. And we talked about health care, believe it or not, and just some other issues as well as overcriminalization. So I think the difference is that I have the support in Northeast Florida as well as in Tallahassee. People are willing to cross the lines to vote for me. And so when I go to Congress, when I go to Washington, I'm going to represent the people.
All right. Glow Smith, appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
And the Democrat on the ballot, we've been talking about him, the former state senator in Florida. We got Al Lawson in our conversation with him next on This Week in Jacksonville.
Introducing Golden Corral's 7-Day Brunch. Every day at 9:30 a.m. Enjoy classic brunch favorites like chicken and waffles, Monte Cristo sandwiches, made-to-order omelets, crispy bacon, and your lunch favorites. Your day just got a whole lot tastier. Only at Golden Corral.
This is Mike's office. If he doesn't show up, he doesn't get paid. Too often, Marco Rubio didn't show up and failed us when he did. I am Patrick Murphy. To get things done, you've got to show up. You've got to work together. Whether it's protecting Social Security and women's health care or growing the economy, we've got to start solving problems instead of pointing fingers. I am Patrick Murphy, and I approve this message because I'll never stop working for you.
Honda knows that being adaptable has its advantages. That's why the Fit lets you do more throughout your day. Gives you a better view of your surroundings. And helps you stay in touch on the go. The Fit, from KBB.com's best value brand. Nothing compares to a Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
World record-holding skateboarding goats in Florida? There's one. Fracking? None. And Keith Perry will keep it that way. But Rod Smith makes false claims about Perry because Smith's a career politician hiding his own dirty record of failing our environment. 4 Fs, ranked next to last by the Sierra Club. Smith even tried to raise taxes on small businesses working on environmental cleanup. Career politician Rod Smith, raising your taxes and failing our environment.
There's no place like Jacksonville. I grew up here, I raised my kids here, and now I'm looking after my folks here. And well, I could use a hand.
Hey, we hear you. It's why AARP is supporting family caregivers like you with free tools and resources. And since caregivers need care too, we're connecting with you at fun, free events like movie screenings. If you don't think this is right for me, when you think AARP, then you don't know art. Get to know us at aarp.org/Jacksonville.
Hillary Clinton won't change Washington. She's been there 30 years. Taxes went up, terrorism spread, jobs vanished. But special interests and Washington insiders thrived. Donald Trump will turn Washington upside down, day one. Real change that puts Americans first. A vote for Hillary is a vote for more of the same. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for change that makes America great again.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
You probably wouldn't put frosting on your morning toast, would you? Believe it or not, it may be healthier than other common options. Watching out for added sugars. Monday on The Morning Show. The Morning Show on Channel 4 makes mornings happen.
In this segment of This Week in Jacksonville with former State Senator Al Lawson, the Democrat candidate for Congressional District 5. Sir, let me talk about some of the latest going on, because here we're down to it, just a week or so until the election by the time our show airs. What's your message to the folks, specifically here in Jacksonville, who have got a chance to decide between you and the Republican candidate and others?
Well, my message to them is that, I plan to have a real productive office here in the Jacksonville, Duval area. And at the same time, I'm trying to get them out to vote, to make sure that they go out and vote, getting to know as many people as possible. We spend an awful lot of time and resources in the Jacksonville area because it's the largest portion of the population in this district. We here constantly, working with ministerial groups, different organizations, the business community, trying to really get to know them as much as they're trying to get to know me. And at the same time, we really want to be successful in this particular area because we always have considered Jacksonville to be the gateway to Florida. And as a result of them being the gateway to Florida, a lot of resources. Traffic comes in here, ship traffic and so forth. You got a large military base here. And so we feel pretty confident that we can be the kind of representative that Jacksonville deserves.
Yeah. So this district, we've had redistricting, and that includes the Tallahassee area now where you're from or where you live. But as we look at it, typically it's been pretty strong Democratic. Now the person who's from Northeast Florida is a Republican, your challenger here. So what would you say to those folks who say, well, can I trust a person from Tallahassee to represent me in Northeast Florida, or should I maybe look at that person who's from the local area?
Well, I know the person that is running really does not live in Duval, and I don't really think the person can even vote for themselves. And this is more of a Democratic district, about 63% Democratic. I think I have a long track record history of serving the people in Florida on several of these counties that I'm currently running in now. So I have that record of being able to fight for those things that the people really want in the district, someone that they can trust, someone that provides the type of leadership for them and their families that they feel confident in. And so as a result, I can take that same leadership to Washington and provide for the people in this district. So you want people to trust you and know that you are going to work hard for them. And when you have a 28-year record in the legislature, they pretty much know whether you can represent them well.
Yeah. I'm curious about how you go to Washington, if elected, and hit the ground running. How do you get in there and make a difference or be effective when the person you're replacing had 20-some years representing this area in Congress?
Well, I think the person I'm replacing did a very good job, and that's been evidenced as you go around in the community, in the business community, and among voters. But I think the advantage that I have is many of the people in the congressional delegation out of Florida, I've had the opportunity to work with them in the legislature. And so I know them quite well, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. And so therefore, it's not a situation of getting to know a lot of people in the delegation that you're going to need. I already know them, and I've been in contact with them over the years, and I know that we can work well together. And that's what you got to do. You got to hit the ground running, and you got to be able to work across party line. We have so much gridlock in Washington, and that has to change. I mean, you know, and I think it's almost like a revolution is going on now, because American people have asked that after the campaigns are over, we want y'all to work for the good of us. And I think that's what makes the country stronger, and so people can get along and work together.
Yeah, Congresswoman Corrine Brown said she delivers. What is the biggest priority? What's the thing you want to deliver if you're elected to represent the folks of District 5?
Well, what I would like to deliver is to make sure that on the federal level, the resources that we have bringing down for infrastructure, you know, that we can still do that. That's very important for jobs and the economy if you can bring down the resources in this particular area. One of the things I want to deliver to this area and throughout the district is to do something about the affordability of higher education, so it doesn't become, you know, it just affect grandkids, your kids, everybody else, because the federal government has been making a profit off a student loan situation as well as the people in Wall Street. And that's one of the things at the top of my agenda, because we need to have an educated public in Florida, and we're going about it the wrong way at the federal level. So not only to bring resources here, but to do some things that I know you're capable of doing. I don't say that I deliver, because, you know, when you say you deliver, you know, some people think you deliver pizza, you know, and so, but I want to say is that I want to work well with the people here and provide the kind of leadership that they can count on.
Al Lawson and Glo Smith on the ballot in Congressional District 5. We will look at CD4 next week, the seat in Congress that replaces Andrew Crenshaw from Jacksonville. University of North Florida Public Opinion Research Lab, the latest poll for the presidential election in Florida. They've got Hillary Clinton leading Donald Trump by 4 points in the four-way race. They also broke it down by just the two leading candidates. Clinton ahead there as well, but it's very close, leading by 2 points in the head-to-head with Donald Trump. And UNF looked at the Senate race, too. Incumbent and Republican Marco Rubio is up by 6 points over Democrat Patrick Murphy, the congressman from South Florida. Not shown on the screen, Amendment 2 about medical marijuana, that is at 73% support. All right, we continue closing in on the election of a new president in America. And this past week, we spoke with Republican nominee Donald Trump at a campaign stop in St. Augustine. That entire interview is online for you at news4jax.com. We've also asked to interview Hillary Clinton for you prior to the election. This Week in Jacksonville airing each Sunday morning at this time. And in the final show before Election Day, we'll look at the pros and cons of Duval County's slot machine referendum. Thanks for joining us.
At News 4 Jax, we're always covering the news, even when we're not on TV. Stay informed, on the go, and online at news4jax.com.